historically Black college, our very own Florida A&M University, and Mr. Chester Hood.
Well, good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Chester Hood, and I am the Director of Admissions at Florida Agricultural Mechanical University in the great city of Tallahassee, Florida. We're honored that you joined our webinar this evening to learn more about our prestigious institutions. Florida A&M University offers 56 bachelor degrees, 29 master's degrees, 3 professional degrees, 12 doctoral degrees within our 14 colleges and schools. I am pleased to announce that we offer weekly Zoom info sessions. These sessions, our faculty, student, and staff will discuss our majors, scholarship opportunities, our various student activities, and the admissions process. For more information, you can contact our Office of Enrollment Management at area code 850-599-3796. Again, 850-599-3796. Or you can visit our website at www.famu.edu. We're also pleased to announce that we are continuing our guaranteed decision days. Students who apply and submit all of their supporting documents by October 30th is guaranteed a decision by January 15th. Those who submit their documents and their application by January 3rd is guaranteed a decision by March 16th. And those who submit all of their documents to our university by March 2nd will be notified their decision no later than May 1st. Lastly, we now accept self-reported transcripts through our iRattler portal. This opportunity now gives you an additional method to submit your transcripts. Please note all test scores must be submitted directly from the testing agency. And we do super scores, so it's in your best interest to submit all of your test scores so that we can give you the best decision that we can. Listen, I want to say thank you again for taking this opportunity to hear from us. And now I want to introduce my professional colleague from Florida Atlantic University, Ms. Mara Flatchner. Thank you.
Hi, Mara, this is Terry. Can you please unmute?
Hi, folks. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Welcome to Florida Atlantic University. I'm sorry. My apologies. Our location in Boca Raton or at our Wilkes Honors College in Jupiter provide you unparalleled access to the South Florida coastline and every industry imaginable as you are interested in your studies, your internships, and your jobs after graduation. Next year at the Honors College, you would expect to see some additional residence hall space. We are increasing capacity in our first year class, as well as adding a brand new science building with state-of-the-art laboratories. In August, here in Boca, we will add 600 beds to our residence hall capacity. And just this week, we opened up our brand new esports gaming center that allows our students to compete, as well as sign on for any sort of daily gaming competitions that they may have an interest in. We know that the college search process this year is going to be a little bit different than maybe what you've heard from your friends, your peers, and your relatives. Our admissions process will continue to be on a rolling basis, and we will place heavy emphasis on the academic or the core GPA, along with the rigor and the depth of your high school curriculum. Please apply either using the common application or the application on our website. We don't have a preference, we just ask that you apply once. You can submit any additional material like your self-reported record, your SAT or ACT scores at a later time if you're not ready or able to support those at the time you make application. We require students to do that self-reported academic record and prefer that over any other method of transcript. Our merit scholarship consideration deadline is December 1st, and financial aid notices should be sent to our students' home starting in the middle of December. Our staff are currently conducting virtual presentations in collaborations with many high school counselors. We are offering additional virtual sessions after school hours and in the evenings. We have virtual open house coming up this weekend. And we are offering on-campus limited capacity tours. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. And let me introduce my colleague, Jody Glassman from Florida International University.
Thank you, Maura. I'm delighted to be here today. In 1969, Chuck Perry outlined his vision for a university that would be built on an abandoned airfield. There was one building, which was a former air traffic control tower. There were no phones, it had no drinkable water, and no furniture. Overcoming any and every obstacle, the university opened in 1972 with nearly 6,000 students. From those days until now, our FIU has grown into an internationally recognized, top-ranked research university. The entrepreneurial spirit, community focus, and grit that built FIU in the 1960s still thrives on our campus today. We are often asked why we are called Florida International University. Well, it has to do with two things. First, our location, which is Miami, the hub of the Americas. We take advantage of being not only in Miami, but of Miami. We are interwoven in the community, and like the people of Miami, FIU has a diverse population and campuses rich in culture. The second thing is that we embrace global learning. We engage in collaboratively analyzing and addressing complex problems that transcend borders. All undergraduate students are required to complete at least 2 global learning courses during their degree program. And you will find that global learning is a cross-curriculum part of your FIU experience. There is so much more I can share with you about FIU, but I literally have 2 minutes. At FIU, you will see the word real used a lot. What real does makes a real impact, and real takes on challenges because that's who we are and what we do. At FIU, we never lose our passion for our beloved, humbled roots on that airfield. We look back to remember how far we've come and what it took to get here, and we look forward to where we want to go and how we're going to get there. We turn the impossible into the inevitable. And as a student in the class of 2021, I'm sure you can relate. We hope that you will join us for more about admissions, financial aid, and scholarships. I invite you to check out go.fiu.edu/visit. I now introduce my colleague, Dean Batchelder from Florida Gulf Coast University.
Thank you, Jody. Greetings from sunny Southwest Florida. I am Dean Batchelder, Associate Director of Admissions at Florida Gulf Coast University, located in Fort Myers, Florida. Thank you for joining us this evening and taking a look at what the State University System of Florida has to offer. We appreciate you taking the time to allow us to share information and updates on FGCU. We hope you are staying safe and healthy during this time and that you remain excited about the future and its possibilities. At FGCU, we believe in our students having a lot of one-on-one interactions with their instructors and even conducting research at the undergraduate level. We are a medium-sized university with just over 15,000 students total and a 22-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio. We give students 63 majors and 53 minors to choose from within our 5 colleges of business, engineering, arts and sciences, health and human services, and education, as well as our new School of Entrepreneurship. FGCU has, students have 15 Division I athletic teams to cheer on and over 250 registered student organizations to choose from for their free time activities. We believe in giving back to the community, and our campus has completed over 2 million service learning hours. We also ensure our students find employment as we are top 2 in job placement out of Florida schools. FGCU offers 3 resort-style housing facilities for our students, and we are not dorm-styled. Every student has their own bedroom. They just have to decide if they want to live near the resort-style pool or on the beach on campus. It's a tough call. FGCU uses an early action and regular decision process. Students who applied before November 1 are in the early action pool, non-binding, and will hear back in December and January. Students who applied by March 1 are regular decision, and they will hear back in batches from January through April. Early action students are also in the priority consideration for merit-based scholarships, so I encourage students to apply early. FGCU is on the Common App, and we also have our native application as well. Our campus is open, and we are hosting campus tours 5 days a week. So consider scheduling a visit at fgcu.edu, and we look forward to showing you our beautiful campus. Next is my colleague, Michelle Powell from Florida Polytechnic University.
Thank you. Good evening and greetings from Florida Poly. I'm Michelle Powell, and I oversee admissions at the university. It has been an exhilarating year, probably more excitement than we all bargained for, but through our support of one another, we're moving ever forward. In our first year eligible, Florida Poly entered the national rankings as a top 40 public university, and I'm excited to see where we go from here. We enrolled an exceptional class. Our fall 2020 averages for our admitted class show an academically strong cohort. With over 1,400 students enrolled and 86.4% of our incoming freshmen receiving bright futures, Florida Poly is on the rise. But amidst everything, we remain committed to our small connected campus. Our students, faculty, and alumni are engaged in making an impact. This adds to our anticipation of our new Applied Research Center set to open next fall. We are committed to preparing our students for life beyond Florida Poly, and with the highest median income for graduates, we are proud of the work that we do. I do want to mention what I imagine is most on your minds, the concern you have regarding SAT or ACT scores. We are still requiring students to complete their application by November 1st to Florida Poly. However, this does not include test scores. Students have until January 15th to send in scores, but we guarantee that any student who completes the online application by November 1st and is admitted will be considered for our scholars programs. With that being said, we want to support our students and future students. So I encourage you to contact me directly or one of our admissions team with any concerns regarding the SAT or ACT. Please do not hesitate to or be afraid to submit any of your application materials while we wait for those standardized test scores to arrive. We are here to support you, and we thank you so much for your time. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And now I would like to introduce Haga Ferguson from Florida State University.
Michelle. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in tonight. My name is Haga Ferguson, and I have the privilege of serving as a Director of Admissions at Florida State University, the place where I earned 2 degrees myself. For those of you that may not be as familiar with Florida State, FSU is located in Tallahassee, the capital city of Florida, up in the Panhandle. As a Florida preeminent university ranked in the top 20 of public universities in the U.S., according to the U.S. News & World Report, FSU is the home to approximately 43,000 students. Approximately 33,000 students are undergraduates, and typically we will bring in a first-year class of about 6,000 students. FSU consists of 16 different colleges and a law school, medical school, and a college of engineering. 297 different academic degrees, which allows students a vast number of disciplines to choose from. However, keep in mind that approximately 1/3 of our accepted students were undecided this last year. FSU has the highest 4-year graduation rate in the state of Florida and a 93% retention rate, which places us in the top 10 of public universities in the country. Affordability is an important aspect of the college selection process. FSU is ranked by the Kiplinger's Personal Finance in the top 10 for best value for both Florida and non-Florida residents, and our tuition rates is some of the lowest in the country. To apply to FSU, you can complete one of 3 applications: the institutional FSU application, the common application, or the coalition application. We do not have a preference, but we ask that you only complete one. We did move our priority application deadline this year to December the 1st, and we are allowing students to submit their test scores throughout the month of December. So if you have everything else but test scores, that will be okay. If you're testing in December, you would just need to go ahead and make sure that you self-report those test scores in the application status check by December 31st. So those that have a complete application by December 31st will receive an admissions decision on February the 18th. Students that are admitted to the university are automatically considered for academic scholarships, but we also encourage all students to complete the free application for federal financial aid, or FAFSA as we refer to it, as soon as possible for maximum consideration for financial aid. We are currently not offering campus tours, but we have a number of virtual events, including a virtual tour of campus, which can be found at visit.fsu.edu. And we hope to connect with you virtually soon, and hopefully in the future in person as well. Next, I would like to invite my colleague and friend, Sonia Wu from New College.
Thank you so much, Haga. Well, greetings from Sarasota, Florida. Sarasota is about an hour south of Tampa, right on the west coast of Florida, off the Gulf Coast of Mexico. You can see here in my slide, some of our marine biology students out in Sarasota Bay. So New College is sort of the maverick in the state university system of Florida. We have a 7-to-1 student faculty ratio and average class size of 12. We give you an awful lot of very personal attention. And our new thing this year is the Compass, which is our individualized learning experience that includes career preparation, as well as our regular rigorous academics. We've been long known for preparing students for graduate school, and now we're working very seriously to help students make choices about how to integrate career readiness into their academic program. So every student is assigned a faculty advisor and a career coach from day one. And this includes some opportunities not only to develop internships of your own, but to connect with a mentoring network, to take a course called Designing Your Life, and even to take an MCAT prep course for credit. This is all founded out of our Center for Career Engagement and Opportunity, which is essentially dedicated to pushing you to explore your passions and find what really is the best, most meaningful path to you for your world of work after college, whether or not that involves an advanced degree at some point. With New College also, we've added some new programs. We have a major in statistics that's new to our school. We also have a new program in creative writing. For the application process, there is no application fee. We waive that right off the bat. You can use either the common application or the New College application. Both are available at the address you see up there, ncf.edu/apply. And you are welcome either to have your official transcript sent or to use the SAR, the Self-Reported Student Academic Record. And you can self-report your scores if you prefer, or you can have them sent officially on your transcript or by the testing service, whatever is easier for you. So again, there's no application fee, and the essay and recommendation are now optional. That does not mean secretly required, that means truly optional. And then finally, we do try to make sure that we offer scholarship funding to virtually everyone who comes to us. So for our Florida residents who are coming to us from the high schools, we've done our grade point average scholarships this year so they do not include a score component, because we know some students have not yet had a chance to take their SAT or ACT, or maybe waiting to take a better one. So we set the cuts at grade point averages. So for 1,000 a year, it's 3.6 or lower. For 2,000 a year, it's 3.6 to 3.99. For 3,000 a year, it's 4.0. We also have special scholarships for National Hispanic Scholars. And for National Merit, of course, there's a Special Excellence Award, or the Benequisto. The Benequisto is sort of the grand full ride for in-state or out-of-state students who meet those requirements. And then for our out-of-state students, the typical scholarship would be $15,000 a year. We know that your tuition's a good bit higher than for our Florida residents, so we make the scholarship a bit more sizable. I'd like to introduce next my colleague from the University of Florida, Mr. Charles Murphy.
Hello, and greetings from Gainesville. My name is Charles Murphy, and I'm the Director of Freshman and International Admission at the University of Florida. For those who aren't as familiar with UF, we're a school of over 50,000 students, both graduate and undergraduate, with over 30,000 of those students being undergraduates. Our undergraduate students can study over 100 different majors at UF. Since I have a limited amount of time, I'm just going to talk about a couple things briefly. The first you might have seen recently, the University of Florida was ranked number 6 in number of public universities in the nation by US News and World Report. It's not just a number, but it's what goes into that number. And probably the part that we're most proud of is our student outcomes. If you look at both public and private universities, we were number 7 in the country for student outcomes. And that looks at things such as retention rates, graduation rates, social mobility for low-income students who really change the trajectory of their economic lives after they come and graduate from the University of Florida, and low student debt rates. So we're very proud of the type of outcomes that our students are having at the university. Also, we are a research institution. We had over $900 million worth of research at the University of Florida over the last fiscal year. And certainly that research is being done by faculty members, it's being done by graduate students, but it's also being done by our undergraduate students. We have a fantastic Center for Undergraduate Research that students can take part in. Because the University of Florida is certainly a place of learning, but it's also a place of knowledge creation through that research enterprise that the university has. The university recently wrapped up within the last year or so a campaign to hire 500 new faculty members, which you can see on the slide there has reduced our student to faculty ratio. So it's a fantastic atmosphere for students because of the investment that the state of Florida and the university is putting into the student experience and faculty resources. I would encourage you to get any more information about the admissions process or the admissions office from our website, admissions.ufl.edu. If you use that website /visit, you can find our virtual visit opportunities where you can get an information session, but also hear directly from our current students in a Q&A session to get a feel for campus while we're in this virtual environment. The last thing that I'd leave you with is the state of Florida has a fantastic university system. You've heard from about half of them thus far, and you'll get to hear from more of us here in just a minute. So I know that all of you can find a home in the university system in the state of Florida. We have a lot of different variety of institutions, and I'm glad that you're here to learn about all of them. So with that, I'm happy to pass the proverbial microphone, virtual microphone, to my colleague for the University of Central Florida, Elizabeth Costello.
Thanks, Charles. Good evening and greetings from the University of Central Florida in Orlando. UCF is the largest university in Florida and one of the largest in the nation. With more than 650 clubs and organizations, 13 colleges, and over 200 degree programs on the undergraduate and graduate level, it's a great time to be a UCF Knight. We are designated an Hispanic serving institution by the Department of Education with a minority student population of 48%. We are proud to be ranked by US News and World Report as among the nation's most innovative universities and by Kiplinger's and Forbes magazines as one of the nation's best education values. The university is made up of 4 campuses: our main campus in East Orlando, our Rosen College of Hospitality Management located in the heart of the hospitality industry near International Drive, our Academic Health Sciences campus on the medical city of Lake Nona, and UCF Downtown located in downtown Orlando, and it's in the partnership with Valencia College. We operate on rolling admission. This year, we launched our self-provided academic record for Knights, or SPARK for short, which allows applicants to self-report their record without submitting the transcript. We will only need the official transcript for those students who choose to enroll at UCF. COVID-19 has changed many things this year, but what hasn't changed is all of our desire to help you with your college search, which may be different than you probably expected, but still will be an exciting time for you. We have developed a variety of virtual opportunities for you to experience UCF at a distance, including multiple information sessions, virtual tours, UCF current student panels, virtual open houses, and events highlighting our colleges, as well as one-on-one appointments available to meet virtually with an admissions counselor. I encourage you to visit our website to learn more and to follow us on our social media platforms. I wish you the best of luck with your college search, and if we can be of any help in any way, please feel free to reach out to our office at any time. Go Knights! And now I'd like to introduce my colleague, Terry Evans from the University of North Florida.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and good evening. I am Terry Evans, the Director of Admissions at the University of North Florida, and I'm so excited to connect with you this evening. I know that everything just seems so overwhelming right now. You're not sure what's going to happen with the rest of your senior year, and you're still trying to figure out this whole college thing. Just please know that my team are here to support you. We are dedicated to ensuring that you have a smooth transition into life as an Ospreys. And we essentially are meeting with families via Zoom. We have appointments available. Our campus is open. We are offering tours Monday through Fridays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. We have also updated our priority scholarship deadline from October 15 to January 15, 2021. And most importantly, we're currently admitting students for summer and fall 2021. I encourage you to apply now, even if you don't have your test score or final senior year transcript. And here's why. I don't want you to miss out on any federal financial aid. I would also like to share with you my top 5. Everybody's got a top 5, but my top 5 reasons why I think you will love being an Osprey. Number 1, a nationally ranked education at an affordable cost. UNF consistently ranks high for quality and value. For the last 2 years, Forbes magazine has named UNF a best value college. Number 2, you will find your flock. With a wide variety of majors, over 200 clubs, living learning communities, Division I athletics, and a Greek life, you'll find a home here at UNF. Number 3, employers hire Ospreys. UNF is considered Florida's job university. That's because UNF tops the state universities for graduates employed in our state of Florida. Ospreys launch successful careers throughout the state and around the world. Number 4, our beautiful nest. You'll love exploring UNF nature preserves with miles of hiking trails and beautiful lakes. We own over 1,000 acres of wetlands along the intercoastal waterways, perfect for research and exploration. And number 5, Ospreys make a difference. Community service is just who we are. In fact, the university holds community engagement classification from the Carnegie Foundation, a designation only held by 5% of universities in the United States. It is truly an exciting time to be an Osprey, and we're so glad you could join us tonight. You will now hear from the University of South Florida and my dear friend, Glenn Besterfield. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Hello, class of 2021. My name is Glenn Besterfield. I'm the Dean of Admissions at the University of South Florida in the Tampa Bay area. USF is now consolidated from 3 separate institutions, the University of South Florida Tampa, the University of South Florida St. Petersburg, and the University of South Florida Sarasota Manatee, into one University of South Florida with 3 campuses. So what does that mean from an admissions perspective? One University of South Florida. It means one application, either the institutional application, the coalition application, or the common application. One set of dates and deadlines for decisions and scholarships. One admissions and scholarship criteria based upon academic profile. Basically, one consolidated admissions process. With only 64 years of history, the University of South Florida has made unprecedented academic accomplishments. USF now is number 46 public national university in America per US News and World Report, and number 103 of all national universities, public or private. And USF is only one of 3 preeminent universities in the state of Florida per the Florida Board of Governors, joining my 2 colleagues to the north of the Tampa Bay area. And USF was recently ranked number 1 by the Florida Board of Governors in the entire state university system for performance-based metrics, which measure undergraduate student success. For the class of 2021, the University of South Florida will not be test blind. We will not be test optional, and we'll talk about that in the Q&A later. But the University of South Florida will be admissions flexible. What does it mean to be admissions flexible? For the class of 2021, the University of South Florida has to admit 20,000 students in order to hit our enrollment targets. So we will flex all admissions criteria to achieve these enrollment targets. We'll be extending our dates to apply, to complete applications with transcripts and test scores, and also award scholarships. And although required for admission as a first-year student, we will be de-emphasizing the SAT and ACT scores in our evaluation and decisioning process. My advice, like several of my colleagues before me, apply now and send transcripts or complete the SAR. We will decision your application when test scores are received and students have the time to test multiple times. Please take our virtual tour and stay safe. I'd like to introduce the next speaker, my colleague from the University of West Florida in Pensacola, Katie Condon.
Hi, Katie. Can you kindly please unmute? We're having technical difficulties.
Sorry. Greetings from Pensacola. My name is Katie Condon, and I'm the Executive Director of Admissions at the University of West Florida. Before I begin, I want to thank each of you, the students and their support networks, for taking the time to be with us tonight. UWF is located on 1,600 acres in Pensacola, Florida. We are in the Central Time Zone in the westernmost part of the Panhandle. To give you a reference, that's about 2.5 hours from New Orleans. UWF has been named a Best Southeastern College for 18 years running, and we are the reigning National Football champions for Division II. UWF is home to the Argos and offers a variety of academic programs across various disciplines. At just under 13,000 students, UWF provides its students with the experience of a large university while maintaining a close-knit community atmosphere. Because of our size, UWF offers personalized classroom experiences and research opportunities at the undergraduate level. UWF has a wide range of competitive scholarships and financial aid packages. Over 50% of our 2020 freshman class received an admissions merit scholarship, and nearly 70% received some form of financial assistance. UWF also offers free tuition programs for Florida residents that qualify for the Pell Grant. And our priority scholarship deadline has been moved from December 1st to January 15th for this year. And our first round of decisions will be released in early February, and after that, admissions will be rolling. In lieu of in-person recruitment visits and events, we have several virtual options for students. We have Argo information sessions that will be going on throughout the fall. We have virtual appointments with our admissions counselors. You can also visit us in person. As of October 20th, we will be offering on-campus tours. We also have virtual campus tours with live guides, as well as open house events, event series that will be starting in November. We understand the issue of test availability, but as my colleagues have said before me, we encourage you to go ahead and apply. We will also be putting a strong emphasis on core GPA and academic rigor, and we will be accepting applications and test scores all the way through July of 2021 for the fall 2021 entry term. We will be working with students on a one-on-one basis to ensure that your transition is as easy as possible. Please visit our website at uwf.edu/admissions or email us at admissions@uwf.edu. Thank you, and I'll now turn it back over to Ms. Gillum.
There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah. Famous 2020, you're on mute. Thank you all so much, each and every one of you. I think it's pretty obvious and apparent that we can all see now why the State University System of Florida is ranked #1 so many times. Our 12 universities have something to offer for everyone. So next, we're going to move into the question and answer portion. And as I mentioned in the opening, we received these questions from students and parents just like all of you from across the state. So I'm gonna, just for myself, because I like to see everybody, if you put us back on gallery view. I like to see everyone. Okay, now I can see all my faces. Okay, I'm going to start with Maura. We talked a little bit about some in-person tours. Can you tell me if you're offering tours and what campuses are, please?
Sure. Thanks for the question from our families, and thank you for facilitating, Lou. Yes, Florida Atlantic is offering tours, as is West Florida, North Florida, and Florida Poly as of now. As information changes and regulations on each of our campuses change, schedules could change. So please also remember that we are all offering virtual information sessions, virtual tours, social media events, events on our hosted websites, and everybody's working really hard to make sure that we're giving all of our students, families, and school counselors the information they need to try to make informed decisions about applying and enrolling.
Great, thanks. Okay, Dean, can you tell me what the difference between early action and rolling admissions is?
Sure thing, Lou. Early action is a form of batch processing. It gives students the opportunity to show non-binding interest in a school, which happens to be, I think FGCU is the only school that uses this. Students can then complete their application early, receive a decision early, and make themselves available for merit scholarships. Rolling admissions provides admissions decisions as applications are completed or on a rolling basis.
Great, thanks. Elizabeth, can you explain to me the SSAR and SPARC, and do I have to fill them out?
Great question. The SAR is the self-reported student academic record used by 9 of the 12 SUS institutions. And the SPARC is the self-provided academic record for nights used by UCF. They are both systems that are designed to allow students to self-report their academic record to the institution during the application process. Students are required to submit a final official transcript to the one institution where they're enrolling after they graduate high school prior to enrollment. FIU and UWF do not use either of these platforms, and when applying to them, students would submit a preliminary high school transcript for initial admission consideration.
Thanks. Hey, about math and science. Do I have to take math and science in my senior year?
Short answer would probably be yes, but you know, that's not probably going to be the case for everyone. But the truth is to be a competitive applicant and to be best prepared for your university studies, you need to take as much of the math, the sciences, the English courses, the social sciences, etc., before you enter into college, because all of our institutions have liberal studies classes that we are expecting students to be completing before they go into their major courses. And so the research shows that students that are exposed to science, math, etc., and are doing that all throughout their high school are more successful in those areas in college. I think it's also very important to consider when you are looking to go into majors that are in engineering or science, that if you have any thoughts about that, it is vital that you are continuing to do that in your senior year as well.
Thank you. Jody, can undocumented or TPS, temporary protective status, and DACA students apply to your universities?
So yeah, that's a great question, and one that we get asked quite often. So a student's citizenship is not a requirement. An applicant's citizenship is not a required element on an admissions application. Undocumented TPS, DACA, you fill out what you can on the application. We welcome in the state university system students of all status and from all countries to apply for admission. There is a separate form for the Florida residency, to be eligible, for a non-Florida resident tuition waiver, which allows for applicants who have graduated from a Florida high school, been at that Florida high school for at least 3 years consecutively, they could qualify for in-state tuition, and that is completely separate from your application. And most of us have that listed on our websites. So you can check that out. The other thing you should know, and really important to note, is there's something called FERPA, which is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. And in Florida, FERPA, the Privacy Act, under state law, protects applicants. So your educational record starts being protected under the Privacy Act as an applicant. So that's important to note as well.
Thank you. That is good information. Katie, I didn't do so well last spring with the whole shutdown and everything. Is this going to hurt my chances to get into college now?
The senior year schedule is important in that it provides information on the trajectory of a student's educational path. Is the student taking challenging coursework? Are they taking the bare minimum? Is the student taking courses that will prepare them for their intended major? In this pandemic world, however, we realize that students' courses and performance may be impacted by outside factors. So we encourage all students to be open throughout the application process about those struggles and experiences with their admissions representatives.
Thanks. Share the story. Michelle, many schedules were changed recently due to online versus in-person availability and things like that. How is rigor going to be viewed in light of all the scheduling availability and restrictions that a lot of our students are dealing with right now? And
yes, thank you, Lou. Yes, so we are aware of the changes to schedules as well as how students are having to adjust their learning and the resources during this time. So we will be looking at all 7 semesters of high school and understand that there may be some changes at the end of junior year and the beginning of senior year due to the way that school is being offered. So that will be considered and taken into account.
Thanks, we need that. Sonia, for the class of 2021, how can we complete the community service requirements and hours when so much is closed and not being offered to us any longer?
There's some really great resources out there to help students find ways to do volunteer work online, and there's some good websites for finding these. One of them is volunteermatch.org. There's also dosomething.org. And there's another one called serve.gov. So we do strongly encourage that students look into these as early as possible to give themselves time to get those volunteer hours in and get them documented.
Great, thanks. And Chester, which fee waivers do you accept?
Well, all of us accept the College Board and the ACT fee waiver. We also accept the fee waiver from the National Association for College Admissions Counseling, or better known as NACAC. Some schools also accept the information you receive for that says that you receive free or reduced lunch with a letter from your school counselor. For many of us, and all of us really, please let us know if the cost of the application fee is an issue for you. We will definitely work with each one of the students.
That's great. And how can I get an application fee waiver to you to do that?
Absolutely. Students should be provided this documentation directly from the waiver from ACT or SAT, right? The NACAC fee waiver can be provided from the counselor, or you can literally generally go on Google on website and type in NACAC fee waiver and present it to your counselor, and they will fill it out for you. Students with financial hardship due to COVID should be ready to provide documentation with their request for consideration. FSU allows self-certification, and NCF waives the application fee for students as well.
Great, that's awesome. Jody, how does a wait list work? What's that?
That's a really good question. So a wait list is when you meet the admissions requirements, but the college or university has already accepted the number of students that it has room for. And then if a spot becomes available later on, you may be offered that spot. There are some key points in a wait list. You need to decide if you want to stay on the wait list. If the offer comes in after May 1st, You need to look at forfeiting a deposit. Did you make a deposit to another school? And if you are offered a spot off the wait list, what happens to that deposit? You may be granted a spot off of the wait list, but what happens to specific financial aid or housing guarantees? What does that look like? My biggest suggestion when it comes to waitlist, and I think my colleagues would agree, is to ask questions and be proactive about the waitlist, about what it means to be put on the waitlist, and to keep yourself informed about the waitlist. I know there are a few schools who use waitlist, a few of the SUS institutions who do use waitlist, and one thing about the state university system is we're very transparent in our processes. So, you have assigned admissions officers, you have the 12 of us. So just really make sure you're asking those questions and that you're making an informed decision. And that you also have a plan B. You have some kind of backup plan, and that you don't put all of your eggs, if you will, in the waitlist basket. And I'm sure as a school counselor, you can agree with me on that one.
Absolutely. Many times, many baskets. Have a lot of baskets.
Have a lot.
Thank you. Michelle, do first year students have to live on campus? And if they do they get their own room?
That is an excellent question. So it depends per institution. So some of the state universities will require students to live on campus and have a residency requirement. Other institutions like Florida Poly, we do not require students to live on campus, but regardless, it is strongly encouraged. But when it comes to having their own rooms and all of those opportunities, it's not guaranteed depending on the institution. But with the pandemic and with COVID-19, what we've seen is universities adjusting their procedures on campus to maintain student safety. So those preparations, should this continue, we've seen them this fall, so we'll look to the future to see what that will hold, but each institution will address that separately when the time comes.
Thanks. Charles, I'm taking dual enrollment and I'm going to have an AA degree when I graduate from high school at the same time with my diploma. So do I apply as a first-time student or as a transfer student when applying?
Yeah, so for all of our universities, a student in that scenario who's doing dual enrollment and will get the AA when they graduate high school should apply, as we call it, FTIC, first time in college student or a freshman student. So that's the same for all of our universities. I will tell you something that's a little unique about UF is that if students who are getting an AA apply to UF and they are not admitted during the freshman admission process, we will give them the option to opt in to be considered as a transfer student. Now, those students would need to meet the transfer admissions requirements, which would be specific college GPA and specific course prerequisites depending on the college or major that they want to pursue. So that second part is unique to UF. The first part, everyone should apply as a freshman, regardless of what campus they're applying to.
Great, thanks. Now, I'm taking the dual enrollment. Do I list that as having attended college on my application, and do I need to send them the college transcript?
Yeah, you should absolutely report dual enrollment courses on the application. If you're applying to a school that uses the SAR or Spark, again, those are the self-reported, you should report those courses right when you do that. Other colleges and universities, if it's on your high school transcript, they may not require the transcript when you apply if it's on your high school transcript. But all of us, if you enroll, you will need to send us that final college transcript so we can add any credit for you.
Great, thanks. Elizabeth, should I be sending in letters of recommendation to a school that doesn't require them?
That's a great question, Lou. We all try to be as transparent as possible with our application process and our requirements. Students should read and pay attention to all of the instructions and really follow them for each institution where they're submitting an application. If a university says that they want 2 recommendations, send them 2 recommendations. But if they say they do not want letters of recommendation, don't send them. We really want you to pay attention to the instructions and follow them as closely as possible.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Michelle, how do you look at the senior year schedule and how does it factor into the admissions as a whole?
Yeah, thank you, Lou. I think Katie mentioned a little bit about this, and so to transition from what she said earlier, it is important to understand where a student is headed. Depending on what students want to study in college, they really should be using that senior year as a way to prepare for that, to make sure that they are challenging themselves and taking those courses that are preparatory for their program. Of course, we can understand that amidst the pandemic, some classes may not have been offered, or there may have been changes to that schedule. So it goes back to earlier what we've been talking about, is just really stay in communication with us and let us know about those changes if it affected your senior year.
Now, what if I want to graduate from high school early? Is that going to hurt me in the admissions process? I don't know if Haga heard me. There she is.
I am so sorry. Yes, it does not hurt you to graduate early. However, what is really important is if you're choosing to graduate early, you're still going to be evaluated among all the other ones in the applicant pool. So how competitive are you on graduating early? By all means, if you've exhausted all the opportunities for growth in your curricular setting, then that's might be the right decision for you. But if there's still ways for you to challenge yourself in high school, then you may want to give careful thought to that.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, a big question goes to you, Glenn. Are ACT, SATs required for all 12 state universities in the state of Florida?
Lou, you're not my friend anymore.
I know. It was going well there for a while, but
boy, you give me I thought this would be the first question. Class of 2021. Look, on behalf of the University of South Florida, and I think on behalf of all the universities on this call, I'm very sorry. And I say that from the heart. These are very difficult times. It's difficult in a pandemic to test. We know that. We see test centers closed. We see limited availability at test centers. There's anxiety on behalf of, and not just test anxiety, it's anxiety about life that we're all facing. You're in a new learning environment in high school that you might not be used to. It's tough. All 12 people on this call, we have advocated to our universities. We have advocated to our provosts and our presidents to go test optional. We have advocated to the Board of Governors to be test optional. At this time, the state of Florida is the only state in the United States that is not test optional. By Florida law, Florida state law, and Board of Governors regulation, to be admitted as a first-year student, or what we call an FTIC, first time in college, you must submit test scores, SAT or ACT. I think during the initial introductions, I think you heard from a lot of the universities that we're going to be as flexible as we possibly can. We'll push our dates. Try as hard as you can to test, and try to test multiple times. And on behalf of the University of South Florida, we wish you luck. Thank you.
I know my kids are very grateful, and my parents are very grateful for hearing that. Thank you. With the SAT and it having the essay portion, is that still required?
That's an easy question. I got that one. No, it is not required by any of the universities in the state university system.
Great. And if I'm a kid sitting here and haven't been able to take the test at all right now, what should I be doing?
Sign up for the tests. They are available. I haven't got an update from ACT and College Board in a couple of weeks, but the last update that I did get was there was a lot of availability. I believe the availability in Southeast Florida is more limited. I know the Tampa Bay area has availability. In fact, the University of South Florida, we opened a test center on campus. So we are doing SAT test on the University of South Florida campus on November 7th and December 5th, as are some of the other universities. So, I mean, we're doing our part, and I think the other universities are doing their part also. You know, if a student can't test and just doesn't have the availability, the Florida college system, and I hate to suggest that because We want the students coming to the state university system, but you know, after 1 year, you can transfer. Of course, we prefer that the students stay and get their AA degree and then transfer into an SUS institution. So that there are still options out there.
Thank you so much for that. Just voice of calm and reason. And I know a lot of kids and families really needed to hear that. We're still friends.
We're not, none of us on this call are calm at all about the SAT, ACT. But we are very understanding of the situation. And I think we're going to adjust appropriately as universities to do our best to understand and help out the students.
Yeah, I've been telling my own students, and I tell everyone across the state, check out your university and your community. I know FIU's opening up for testing and building that capacity in, and I know all of you are trying to do so, and I know I'm incredibly grateful. Haga, we're going to go ahead and stick with SAT, ACT because that's fun. How will SAT and ACT be weighted for this year since Florida schools are not test optional? Will low scores be looked down upon, although most students might not have been able to take the test as many times as they wanted to?
Of course, it's always just been one of many factors, but all of us here on this call from the universities know that students are deeply impacted but not being able to, one, perhaps sit for one test scores, but in many cases not be able to sit for multiple test scores, and so therefore be able to continue to improve their test score. So all of us here of the 12 universities, we're just very aware of that and are building into our processes of making sure that all the other factors that we know are really important as part of our holistic review are really at the center and focus of what we do. So I think it's fair to say that there is definitely going to be a lot of emphasis on the academic performance of the student. And that's 9th through 11th grade, right? And then we know also for 11th grade, it's going to be a little bit different because most students have to transition out to go virtual the second semester of their senior year. But, you know, for us, you know, what's so different about this year is that everyone has been impacted by the pandemic. And several of us have children that are going to school, they're in the college admissions process as well. So we know that, you know, many of us are feeling this ourselves. So, you know, as we are evaluating students' applications, you know, we are definitely sensitive to what the limitations are for students to take test scores, and that is absolutely built into our application review process.
Thank you, thanks. Charles, you have a November 1st deadline, but can I send those test scores in after that?
Yes, you can for the University of Florida. And again, I think you've heard from several of my colleagues here that we're going to be as flexible as we can in our processes. So for the University of Florida, really any test you can take in calendar year 2020 will be fine. So hopefully you've tested. If you haven't, there are still some testing opportunities in November and December. Those will meet our deadline. We just ask that you, for UF, request those scores in December so we get them at the latest by early January. But again, you've heard from other schools as well that have adjusted some deadlines and those types of things around test scores. So we've done a little bit here at UF, but you do need your application in, but just know that your test scores can come later. And again, I think you've heard that message from some of my other colleagues at other campuses as well.
Thanks, great. Chester, can I apply now if I'm a senior, but I haven't taken the test yet? I'm planning on taking it in November.
Absolutely. We actually prefer that you do. We want you to submit your application and submit whatever supporting documents that you can now. That way that once we get the test score, we can speed up our decision and get a decision for you quite quickly. So please apply now. Our application is available and we are looking forward to reviewing your application as soon as you submit it.
Great, thanks. Dean, will students applying early action be offered an extension to be able to send those test scores in? What will the deadline be for them to send it in for early action?
Sure, thanks, Lou.
You got it.
Keeping the deadline the same right now to have a complete application by November 15, so we can send out letters of admissions and scholarships in December. However, if a student is unable to complete their application in November due to the lack of a testing opportunity, they will automatically roll into regular decision and their application will be reviewed when they're able to complete the test and it went in. We will accept tests, as Charles mentioned, throughout calendar year 2020, and FGCU will take tests from January, February, March if that's when they're finally able to take the test. We just want to see get their application complete and give us a complete picture of them.
Thanks. And Elizabeth, am I going to be penalized if I only can take it once?
Absolutely not. That we understand what's going on. We're all, as other people have mentioned, we all understand what the pandemic has been, and we understand that it's tough, and taking it once may be what you can do. We look at many different things when we're evaluating applications. It's not just test scores. So we understand that if it's only once, it's okay. So don't stress about that. I know there's so much to stress about, but don't stress about that because we understand.
Okay, well, Katie, what about if we submit PSAT or AP scores instead of SAT or ACT?
Unfortunately, we do not accept AP or PSAT scores in lieu of ACT or SAT. We must have official ACT or SAT scores. No substitutes.
Okay. All right, I guess I'll let that one go now. Terry, what if I don't think I can afford to just go to a university? What if I just can't get the money together?
Then I probably share that with you. Essentially, one of the things that I was able to do was essentially look for opportunities within the college, within the university student Office of Student of Financial Aid to essentially guide me through what grants and scholarships were available. In addition, one of the things that we're definitely all proud, all of us on this call, is essentially how the state, all the universities that are presented here have done an amazing job at trying to remove as many financial barriers as possible. So just give us a call. That's what we're here for. I'm sure if you visit each of our sites, you will find that email address or that telephone number or even that virtual appointment that you can schedule to meet with the financial aid representative that can guide you through all the multiple programs that are out there, specifically as early as you can in the process so that you don't miss on any potential financial funding.
Great.
Does that help?
A lot. And now we're going to get some more help and go straight to the money man. Pedro, will there be any changes to the Bright Futures, the Florida Bright Futures program for the class of 2021 this year?
Thank you for the question. This year's changes to the Florida Bright Future Scholarship are the test requirements for the top two levels. The Florida Academic Scholar requirement is 29 for the SAT or 1,330 SAT. For the Florida Medallion Scholar requirement, that requirement is 25 SAT or 1,210 on the SAT. Please also note, always reference the Florida's Bright Future Student Handbook for the latest updates and information found on our website at floridastudentfinancialaid.sg.org. In addition, the eligibility requirements are subject to change with each legislative session.
That's true. Okay. Maura, can you tell me about a micro scholarship? What's a micro scholarship?
Sure. So a micro scholarship is something that is going to be offered to students as you complete certain activities or certain academic benchmarks and achievements. So there are some micro scholarship websites out there where schools participate. One of them is raise.me, RAISE.me. Several of the SUS schools do participate. And you can develop a little portfolio for yourself in 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade and log your activities, community service, athletics, academics, and so forth. And that is a way that students can earn some dollars towards their cost of education.
Great, thanks. Terry, when can I start applying for financial aid?
Now.
Even if I'm a junior?
No, that's a good question. Thank you, Lou. If you're a senior, definitely now. And here's why. The free application for federal student aid opened up on October 1st for seniors. And this is really your gateway in communicating with the federal state government about what your financial needs are. And most importantly, the tip here is that you're going to need your parent or guardian tax returns from 2019 to complete this form. It's rather easy, specifically if you do it online. If you have your parent's tax return, the electronic application will tell you what fields to look into your tax return to complete that information. So I would say, I don't know, maybe 20 to 30 minutes at most, once you have that document from your parents or your legal guardian. If you're attending summer, this is where things change a little bit. If you're a senior year student and you're attending summer, you're gonna need to complete the 2021 FAFSA for that academic year. And then if you're also attending fall, you will need the 21-22. Again, these are 2 aid years, they're different. So once again, develop an amazing good friend, someone that you're gonna hug for the next 4 years in your Office of Student Financial Aid, because they will help you through this process. But most importantly, they're completely vested in you, in your future, and they will continue to share when this, application opens and continue to walk you through that, how that financial aid package looks like, and opportunities that perhaps you may be leaving on the table that you do not want to leave on the table. So please do it now, October 1st. It's been 2 weeks.
Thank you, yes. Sonia, can you tell me if undocumented, the temporary protective status, TPS, and DACA students can apply for federal, state, or university financial aid?
Unfortunately, the answer to that is no, but that does not mean that there are not any options. There are things that students who are undocumented, TPS or DACA can do to keep their costs lower. One of my colleagues soon is going to be talking a little bit about the ways that they can be eligible for Florida resident tuition rates instead of out-of-state tuition rates. There are also some organizations that work especially to help these students. One of them is called the Dream.us, and I know some of my colleague institutions work with that particular program. Another is called MALDEF.org, MALDEF.org, and they collect information on scholarships that do not usually have any requirement for either a social security number or citizenship.
Those are great resources, thanks. And we're back to you, Pedro, because of money. How about undocumented TPS and DACA students? Do they qualify for Florida Bright Futures?
Good question. We at the Florida Department of Education, Office of Student Financial Assistance, always encourage all high school seniors to apply to the Florida Financial Aid application. This will ensure that all students, those going into the military, students who are going to be attending out of state, or those who are currently ineligible may regain Bright Futures eligibility within the next 5 years after high school graduation via the scholarship reinstatement. By completing the Florida Financial Aid application, a scholarship requirement, and also meeting all other requirements, Bright Futures recipients who did not receive funding immediately following their high school graduation must apply within 5 years after high school graduation to reinstate their award. However, currently a student, a DACA status student, is currently not eligible to receive funding, but they are eligible for eligibility criteria.
Great, that's good to know, thanks. Hey, Terry, can you talk a little bit about the state's first generation scholarship program?
Yes, I absolutely love it. And I think part of that is because maybe some of my colleagues join me in saying this. I was a first generation student, and I was able to earn my 2 degrees via 2 ways, scholarships and financial aid. Unfortunately, they didn't come from an affluent family, so those were the avenues that I took to essentially achieve my academic dreams. So the first gen scholarship or generation scholarships is definitely available here in the state of Florida. It's to qualify, it's just a few little things. Be a Florida resident. Have parents who have not completed the bachelor's degree. Complete your FAFSA. Remember, your free application for federal student aid. Once again, make a friend in that financial aid office who's going to walk you through this and give you even additional information. And most importantly, you're going to need to enroll for 6 credit hours, but that's okay. You want to graduate in 4, so make sure that you maximize that load. And lastly, maintain that GPA. We want you to graduate. So that GPA to keep that scholarship is a 4.0. Again, I encourage you to visit all of the financial aid websites to the corresponding university and make that friend in that Office of Financial Aid. And again, if you're first gen, congrats. I want to, wish you the best in your academic journey.
Great. Okay, Dean, do undocumented TPS and DACA students qualify for Florida resident tuition waivers?
Yes, they absolutely do. I get to follow up, Terry, with some more good news, and Jody touched on this a little bit earlier. But yes, undocumented TPS and DACA students are able to qualify if they meet a few requirements. Florida law allows SUS schools, all of us, to waive the out-of-state fee for undocumented students if they, one, attended a high school in the state of Florida for 3 consecutive years, and if they graduated from that high school immediately after those 3 consecutive years of attendance, and then as long as within 24 months they apply for enrollment in a state university or a Florida College System institution or a Florida Career Center or Charter Technical Career Center, then yes, they are eligible, and all of us will waive the out-of-state fees for them and charge them at the in-state fee rate.
Great, that's great news. And Maura, what about scholarship opportunities for international students?
Sure, thank you for the question. So international students may be eligible for scholarships at each of our respective campuses. It may depend on what visa type the student is on, and some scholarships are only eligible for students on that particular visa. So it's best to check with the scholarship or financial aid office at the school that you intend to enroll, or your top 3 choices, for example, since all those requirements will depend on each individual school.
Okay. Katie, tell me please, what makes the State University System of Florida #1 in the nation?
Well, as we've said previously, we have been ranked #1 in the nation for 3 years in a row. And this ranking is based on state universities' overall 4-year graduation rate, the low cost to degree, the low student debt rate, and the number of degrees awarded without a student taking more credits than they need, as well as graduates employed or enrolled in continuing education within 6 months of graduating with their bachelor's degree. In 2018 and 2019 academic year, Florida awarded nearly 70,000 bachelor's degrees, and 42% of those were awarded to historically underrepresented minority populations. The state university system is also a leader in innovation and invention and has produced 421 U.S. patents. In addition, 5 of the institutions are ranked in the top 100 worldwide universities granted U.S. patents. So we are proud.
Y'all rock. Wow. Yep, we have the best. We have so much greatness here in Florida and in our state university system. And yeah, we don't get enough. You guys are awesome. All right, I don't want to leave. Okay, as a reminder to all, this was recorded, and each one of these 12 universities will have a copy to host on their individual university websites for later viewing. This should happen within the next week or so. And you definitely want to go and visit all their sites and learn more about all of these great, wonderful opportunities as well. We all know that this is a time of great anxiety and uncertainty. And I hope, and our panelists hope as well, that we provided enough information this evening to help you on your journey. I encourage all of you to visit each of the individual websites for all 12 of our state universities. And thank you all coming for tonight and spending time with us, and good luck to all of you. Thanks for being here with us.